we have the BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF looking like it could be approved, and we'll get into the pros and cons of that. But BlackRock, world's largest asset manager, around $10 trillion of assets under management, arguably one of the branches of government in terms of the political influence that BlackRock enjoys, very tied into the establishment. So the fact that BlackRock has applied for the spot Bitcoin ETF leads one to believe that it will get approved. BlackRock has a near-perfect record of ETF approvals. They filed for 550 and only got one rejected. So the math is in their favor. And it's a very big turnaround from Larry Fink, who back in 2018 said that Bitcoin was essentially an index to see how much money laundering has been done in the world. Quite the about face there. But here we are with Bitcoin, with BlackRock looking to launch the spot Bitcoin ETF. What are the chances that it gets approved? Do you think that this will happen?
Yeah, I mean, it looks really likely that a few ETFs will be approved, probably in 2024. I expect them to be live and trading. That's kind of my mental model for planning what we do at Swan and thinking about how things will develop. You know, that in 80% plus likelihood is probably where I'm factoring that in. And it will happen unless something different happens. It's on that path to definitely happening unless something comes out of left field and stops it.
Right, and a number of BlackRock insiders have said that they do believe that several will be approved at once, with some of the leading players. That collectively is $19 trillion of assets under management that could go into the Bitcoin space, and it could lead to an inflow of $150 to $200 billion into Bitcoin investment products over 3 years by some estimates. The question is this actually a good thing? It may be good for the number go up people, it may be good for the price, but is it contrary to the decentralized sound money mission of Bitcoin? If we have BlackRock, which would essentially take custody of a large chunk of Bitcoin, centralizing it. BlackRock also moving into the mining space. It's bought shares in 4 of the largest miners. So sort of taking control of the Bitcoin ecosystem. Does that jeopardize the ethos of Bitcoin, the decentralized mission of what Bitcoin is supposed to be?
Well, I think you meant to say taking an economic position in the Bitcoin ecosystem, not control. Because neither of things give you any control.
Taking a concentrated position, right.
Yes.
Well, taking custody of a large chunk, but it may move its tentacles to have control over the ecosystem.
They can certainly try. They can certainly try. But again, you know, them owning shares of Bitcoin miners, and again, only some of the Bitcoin miners that happen to be publicly listed in the USA, which is not all of the hash rate or even close. And also doing that largely on behalf of their clients, not themselves. It's not their own balance sheet that's investing in these. So that one has never really bothered me at all. And miners don't control the network anyway. The nodes do. As far as political influence, and what does it mean to have all this Bitcoin under custody? Satoshi and Hal wrote from the very beginning that there were going to be funds of holding Bitcoin and banks holding Bitcoin and their buyers as well, right? A business is just something that's owned by a group of people and controlled by a group of people. So whether we like it or not, it's inevitable that governments, pension funds, asset managers, banks will hold large chunks of Bitcoin. They're not going to do it the way that we do. They're not going to have self-sovereign money. They're going to have committees sharing keys and voting on different things, and it's just not as good a product. Paper Bitcoin is not as good a product as self-sovereign money in your cold storage.
Well, sure. And again, that's what I'm saying. Does it defy the whole ethos of Bitcoin of being an independent form of money away from the institutions? Are we ruining this perfect form of pure sound money by putting it in to a broken system? Because with an exchange, if you buy into the exchange-traded fund of a spot Bitcoin ETF, it'll probably be appealing to a lot of retail investors that are intimidated by self-custody and wallets and exchanges. And I've heard about Bitcoin, want exposure to it, and this is an easy way for them to do it. But they're not actually adopting Bitcoin. They're buying shares, so they're not actually taking control of their money and sort of liberating themselves in the way that it's supposed to be. Like, is spot Bitcoin ETF adoption actually Bitcoin adoption?
No, it's not, but it's further down the funnel than buying altcoins.
Okay, so less bad.
Yeah, it's less bad. It's a better top of funnel to get toward understanding Bitcoin, because and this is something that you and I have talked about before. You know, when I think about a business like Swan, or businesses like Bull Bitcoin, that are doing the Bitcoin on-ramp thing and Bitcoin adoption, this is a massive improvement for us, because instead of having to make the pitch to someone, hey, I see you're buying these altcoins, those are a scam, implicitly that makes the person feel attacked. It's a bruise to their ego because they feel like they got scammed, or that they're hearing from a Bitcoiner that they got scammed. It's a massive, really, really hard for somebody to get over that.
You're very good at that,
and be ego-free, right? Now, if we have Vanguard, Fidelity, BlackRock, Van Eck, all these people pushing Bitcoin education, they're handing out books by Lynn Alden and Safety and VJ, and pointing to Bitcoin podcasts, and hiring Bitcoiners to go and hawk their wares or whatever. Now you've created a top of funnel baseline of Bitcoin education that has people partway down the rabbit hole, and all we have to do is step in and say, thank you for the $500 million of free marketing that we didn't have to pay for. Here's real Bitcoin, and it's cheaper than your ETF. And we can convert the whole world from the ETFs into real Bitcoin.